Warning: the following AI coding video will not blow your mind. Everything will not change. It is not wild, crazy, unbelievable, or game-changing. In fact, it is a very boring video of a goofy dude using AI to accomplish an everyday task in a slightly faster and better way. You might learn a new technique or trick, but rest assured that no billion-dollar companies were killed during the filming of this video. Continue watching at your own risk.
Guys, this is Kevin. I'm back with another AI coding video, and this time I want to talk to you guys about updating an existing code base. So we've done a lot of work with brand new code bases. You can get a lot of mileage, showing some cool techniques there. But honestly, my day-to-day is mostly going through and updating existing large code bases that I've been working on for, a month or 3-6 months, maybe longer. And I'm guessing that a lot of you guys have this same type of experience. So I want to show you just a few tricks that you can use to kind of help with this day-to-day task. All right, so for my work, this is this real thing that happened this week for me. So I've been working on this internal tool here at my job, Pioneer Square Labs, and my boss went through and was giving me some feedback on the tool. So he was using it. He's just walking through and giving some good advice and some tips about things that he wants to change and suggestions. So he's kind of the business owner here. And so generally we'll go through, I will review this. I will take a bunch of notes. I will go over to my, task list board, wherever that is. It's Trello or Notion, whatever. And then I kind of work through it one by one. I'm copying, pasting. But I want to show you kind of a quick way to use AI to help with this. So, here's my video.
These domains and landing page stuff later. Or
some basic feedback. There's a bunch of things in here. I went ahead and took this, and you can download this video. And what we're going to do is actually use Gemini. So I don't use Gemini a lot in my day-to-day, but I think there's some use cases where it makes a lot of sense. And one thing that it's really good at is understanding video. So what we're going to do is we took this video clip here. Let's upload this. And then we need to give it some instructions, okay? And so I already, in my repo, so this is my code here. I just have this extra file here. This is just a helper, right? You could make your own notes. I'm just putting it here just to make it simple. And so I've got some of these common prompts here so that I can reuse these. Again, this doesn't need to be in Cursor. Cursor's not actually going to look at these. It's just for copying and pasting. Okay, so let's take a look at this prompt here. And this basically says, I want you to be a TPM. You're going to review this customer feedback, and you want to break it down into stories. Okay, and then be very detailed. Your response should be in the format of a Markdown file with numbered stories and empty checkboxes. If you guys have seen my videos, you know why I do this, so that Cursor can go and check, and sort of use it as a short-term memory there. I always use my little key phrase here, 1 point story. I'll just be more explicit here. 1 story point. Very detailed. Let's fix my grammar here, guys. It's real time. I'm working on this. You guys know, I turn on my camera. I'm like doing real work here. So hopefully this is helpful. It's not going to be the most polished thing in the world, but hopefully you guys appreciate that. Okay. So there's our system instructions. And then again, if you see my videos, one of my favorite tools, repo prompt. I've got my PSL platform here. There we go. We're going to open it up. And, this thing's not huge, but it's getting bigger as I work on it. So we're at 156 tokens. I didn't grab all of the code, but I grabbed most of it. I didn't spend a ton of time going through this. You guys can sort this by tokens high to low, get a sense of, maybe there's something in there you don't want, or you can remove it. But the nice thing about Gemini is, this context window is huge. Where is it? For this Pro Experimental, where do you see it? I'm sure it's here somewhere. Oh, there it is. 2 million. It's amazing. So you can just stick whatever you want in here, right? And so let me see here. I'm just going to paste this in. It's my code base. And I will say, use the code base above and the video to create the stories. Okay, so you already have the system instructions telling it what to do specifically, so I don't need to be too detailed here. And here we go. All right, so just in case you guys haven't used this, this is aistudio.google.com. You know, there's like 4 different ways to use Google things, right? Big company, they got a bunch of teams competing with this. This is kind of the easy, fast way to get things up and going. You know, pretty straightforward here. You can use Vertex. I honestly have tried to navigate that, and it's a big pain. So many Google employees are watching. You know, go bug the team there. I know it's a hard task. So, all right, so it's doing stuff. But anyway, this is a really nice model. This is the experimental one. You can use the rate limits are low here, so if you actually use this for real things, this new Gemini Flash is quite good, extremely cheap, pretty good, and it's quite good at coding. So, and you can see here, this is nice. So we're going through and we are generating this whole big task list. Okay, this looks good. Okay, this looks good. So normally, of course, I would read through this in more detail. For the sake here, I'm just kind of glancing through and make sure that it's in kind of the right format. You know, this is very detailed. I want to look at some of these. So what's nice is, okay, so I know my code base. Because I put in all of the details, it's combining the business requirements with some of the technical requirements that are in there. For example, you know, I have these enums for starred and none and hidden, right? So it pulled those out, which is kind of cool. It's not going too deep and actually writing code for me, which is good. I'm going to show you guys some how to deal with that in a sec. But high level, these are pretty detailed. It's got this you know, this high level thing here. Okay, this looks good. So we're just going to grab this. Let's jump into our favorite tool here, Cursor. Which Cursor, you guys, if you're watching, you've been acting up a little bit lately. I don't know. I've seen a little bit of chatter. I know this is like such a meme to say, oh, you know, my AI has gotten worse. Honestly, my AI has gotten worse today. And so it's been a little finicky. It's been so good the past like 2-3 weeks. And it feels like today, yesterday, I've been really kind of struggling with some basic things here. So we're going to try this out. But I want you guys to be aware of that. If you guys are seeing that too, leave some comments. I want to kind of get a sense of like, is this a real thing or is this just me, you know, doing the meme? But let's try this here. Okay, so again, if you guys haven't seen my earlier videos, you know, this is kind of a common thing, which is I go to a big model that has some reasoning or some, you know, smarts, use that to kind of break it down into this list of the things to go and do. And then I use the cursor agent and Sonnet to kind of be more detailed, kind of the worker to actually go and like execute the tasks. Okay. Now, what we're going to do here is because this is actual user stories and, you know, some of these things might be kind of complex, right? We got to dig through the code base. And we're not saying exactly how to do this. It's just more of just like what to do. So we're missing a step here. We want to find out how to do this. Now, we could try YOLOing it and just saying, hey, cursor, go down through this task list and like, you know, check everything off and like do your thing. But because this is an existing code base, I want to do an extra step here to make sure that what we're doing is the right thing. We're not going off on tangents. I know you guys, if you've been AI coding for a while, you know how frustrating it is when cursor will start going off and it's like just trying to do stuff that you don't want it to do. And so here's a little tip here that can help. All right, so I've got this other prompt here. We're going to copy this. But before we actually do anything here, let's read through it and I want to explain what we're doing. Okay, so basically what we're saying is, Kevin, I'm the business owner, and you, Cursor, are the TPM. And you're going to work with me, Toad, to add an important notes section to each story. So basically what we're doing is we're having Cursor take notes, work with me, take some notes about what needs to be done for each one of these tasks. Okay, and this is kind of detailed about exactly how to do it. But I'm doing things that I know that Cursor has tools for, right? In order to do something, it has the ability to search, to look for files, and then actually look and review those files. So you're searching and then opening and putting that in the context window. You want to look through that and make sure that all the details are right. If there's any missing issues, if it's a little bit ambiguous, if you don't know what exactly is going on, ask me questions, right? Tell me. I want to help you do your job as well as possible. And I want you to come up with a plan in your own words of how you're actually going to do this. Now, again, this is an existing code base. This isn't a brand new thing like the crazy 10 cursor things. If you guys haven't seen that video, like that was so wild. My computer has recovered and we are back. But, this one, I actually know this code base. And so these are real bugs and things that I actually have to go and do. And so if cursor's kind of starting off and not telling me the right things, I can guide it and we can work together. And make sure that what we're doing is we've got as much upfront context as possible before you actually start doing the work. Because if almost like everything, the more time you spend planning, the better the results are going to be at the end of the day. Okay, so again, this is sort of my day-to-day. When I have like 8 hours of coding to do, this is my process I go through. I want to make sure that things are really solid and we're not losing the plot here. Okay, so. Let's paste this in. I kind of hate how it does. I wish it would just paste text, but okay, that's fine. Let's add. Oh, here's our cursor task file. It's already up there. Okay, we got Sonnet here. We got the agent, and let's see what it does. Okay. So we're going to submit this. We are going to submit this. Where are you? Oh, it's because I don't have anything. I wish. Okay, fine. All right, let's see what's going on here. Let's see here. Let's just say follow the instructions. Okay, we're going to submit this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to add some notes here. We're going to look at this. So one of the features is we want to add a last enriched date. I want to see when a founder's profile is last enriched. Okay, so it's going to go out. It's searching. And then it's going to look at this. And we have, so basically it's looking at the database schema and it's looking at this. Should we specifically track when it was enriched or should we use this? So this is a good question, right? So I have my people and let me just show you I'll show you the front end here. So basically, this is my buddy Jordan here. We have this button to enrich the profile. So basically, if we don't have much information about Jordan, we can go out and use a third party to pull in things like, his past history and, some of the experience, all this stuff from LinkedIn. We want to know when the last time we did that was so that, is this out of date? Has that person moved, changed jobs recently, etc. So what we're doing is basically we want to add a last enriched date. And the question is, we already have updated that. Should we just use that or should we create a new thing in there? Same thing as where do we put this, right? So you guys, I didn't show the whole video, but I did actually look at the video and he said, hey, it'd be nice to know when it was last enriched, but he didn't say where. And so these are really good questions. It's shown at this, should we show both the date and time or just the date? Really good questions, right? These are great questions. So let's add a field. Let's put it in very small text. Where should we put this, guys? Let's see. We're going to be the PM here. Enrich profile. Let's just put it. Let's put it under the LinkedIn profile. I should probably use speech to text here. Makes this a much more interesting video. Let's see here. And what else? Just the date's fine. We don't need time. That's fine. Okay. So again, I don't necessarily have to go through this entire thing. I just want to show you guys this process, and I want to talk through a few things about why this is interesting. The number one thing is you want to get as much context in here as possible, right? And then we are, let's go. Okay, so look at what it did. So it basically took the old tasks, it added some notes in here, okay? This is good. This is really good. And then we have a new set of tasks that reflect these notes. Okay. So now it's going to go ahead and start working on the task itself. So what we've done is we've primed the pump. We've gotten all the good details into the context window. We've gotten all of these details saved in this short-term memory so that if we do have to go back and do something else, we can take a shortcut. We can just start over here and get this. Let me double check this before I actually change my. Okay, last enrich that. That looks pretty safe. Sure. That's potentially a very destructive, scary thing to run if you guys know Prisma. I love Prisma, but every once in a while you get that message where it's like, oh, sorry, I can't do this. Should we just delete your database? And it's like, no, please don't do that. But we're good. Okay. So it's doing its thing. Okay, so it's setting the field. Let's just, and then reviewing this, right? So real code, I'm reviewing, review. I know my other videos, I'm yellowing and doing all the fun stuff. This is like a real thing. You gotta be really careful with this. We're reviewing, we're gonna check it. This, I should be having some tests in here. A lot of this is more front end code, so I haven't been doing it. And this is like a little thing. So notice this, we've got small. Kind of funny how this is just an aside, but we have this like crazy SVG with the little LinkedIn logo. We should totally change that, but I actually think it's kind of cool, so I haven't yet. But look at how it's doing this. It's got the date to locale, date string, short, numeric. Like this stuff is the kind of stuff where like you got to look this up. I don't know about you guys. I am not an expert in date time stuff, and I kind of hate it. But this all looks good. So basically, what we're doing is, when we hit that button, we've got our, this is our route. So I'm using TRPC. I'll dig into this later in another video, guys, for the way I have this set up. But high level, when we're doing this enrichment, we then just are adding this as a date field. Let's look at our schema. So this is saving it as a date time, right? And then we're just displaying it. Okay, so we have a date time. And so it is basically doing this. And that seems fine to me. Okay, that looks good enough. Again, it's an internal tool. It's not the biggest deal in the world if it has a little bit of a bug here or there. But anyway, I just want you guys to see the process of like, I'm going through the details here. I'm making sure that I'm getting everything right. This is what I do day to day. Okay, this is a boring video. This is a video that shows like the real like way that the stuff works. What do we have here? Oh, okay. So this is interesting. So, and I'll talk about this just real quick. So we are doing, we use a service called ingest. Okay. So ingest is a way to do sort of background tasks. Now, often when you're doing an AI type of lookup, or you're going off on a fairly expensive long-term type of thing, you often will have to use a background kind of job where you go and do this. Let's see. Oh, this is interesting. So it's kind of going off. So here's another tip, which is it is going off and it's doing some stuff, and it's going and it's finding errors, and then it's making a change to a random file. Okay. I don't like this. I have a bad feeling about this. So I'm going to take a look at this and just make sure what we're doing is not, I don't know why it's doing this, okay? It's doing some funky thing here. It's remove my code. And this is, guys, this is what I was saying earlier. There's something funky with cursor. I feel like this does not happen. This does not happen earlier. I don't know why it found this issue. I don't know what it's doing here. But I'm gonna back out of this, okay? I'm going to have to dig in and figure out exactly what's going on here. This actually looks unrelated to what we just changed. So it's not the worst thing in the world that it's doing this, but what its fix was to remove the code. I've been seeing that more and more. So if you guys are seeing that, honestly, let me know, because I want to know if this is like a real thing. We can go maybe get a few people together and show some examples to the cursor team and kind of, let them know that, like, guys, we love this tool and please don't break it. Okay, I know it's expensive. I know we're costing a lot of money, but you guys raised $100 million, so please help us for at least a little bit longer. Anyway, let's do this. I do want to look at this and see. We've got this running. All right, let's see if this worked. Oh, did you see it? Oh, yeah. So sometimes after it runs a build, I got to restart. That's fine. Okay. So if you guys noticed before, we didn't have anything here. Right now it says never enrich, which is good data for us to know, right? And so now if we enrich, it's going to go off. It's enriching. I like that little logo. And enriching. And hopefully, when this updates, we will see today's date, which is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. This video, I think I might put it out a few days later since I'm on vacation this weekend. So there it is. Last and rich for great. Okay, we got this feature done. And you guys know, again, this isn't we're doing it in 30 seconds. This is a real thing. We're taking our time. We're going through. And so, hopefully you guys can appreciate that I'm going to do some fun hype videos. I'm going to do some crazy stuff, but I'm also going to teach you guys some of the daily grind of how I use these tools to accelerate some basic things. And, sometimes these little tips and tricks are the most helpful, even if they're not the most fun. So if you guys like this, subscribe. We've got a few more videos coming out next week to kind of wrap up a little bit of this series where we're kind of starting from a new app and going through the whole process of building up the back end and all the pieces and the tests and getting it all set. And then I really want to start working on a series where we're going to dive into Cursor itself and how Cursor actually works, and hope to show you guys, maybe I'm thinking about actually like building an open source version of Cursor that we just build together. Because I've found, I spent the past year building an open source coding agent, learned a lot of lessons, and honestly, that spending 8 hours a day diving into these intricacies of the prompting windows and the way that you send context back and forth and all this stuff really gave me a good appreciation for how to best code these. And I'm really coming at this from a place of a lot of time and effort and sweat and tears that I have spilled trying to get the most out of these AI models, and want to share that with you guys. I'm doing some of it here high level, but I want to take a step down so that you guys have the same knowledge I do, so you can start to come up with your own techniques, your own ways of kind of leveraging these best practices instead of just sort of gleaning it from other people's experience. So we'll go up from first principles. And if that sounds interesting to you guys, let me know. All right, I will see you later.